Hey, what is going on today? We are workshopping side control techniques so you can get a brutal and dominant side control. Here we have Alex. Alex has been a black belt for about 23 years, so his jiu-jitsu experience can buy you a beer. My jiu-jitsu experience, she's about to be a preteen, but she's feisty. All right, so if you are a smaller player, getting these technique details are super important because the smaller you are, then the more accurate you have to be. And first, we're gonna go over these principles, then we're going to workshop them live so that we can diagnose where common failure points are.
You start getting inside position with your leg. I just stick my arm in, put my leg back down, but what I'm looking for is you to flatten this leg, right? Start scooping, so I put my knee in. And a lot of people think, hey, I feel like I'm starting to get position. But I just use that to make you more tired.
Yep. The reason why this is so genius is because all the side control escapes stem off of these two movements. The first movement being getting and trapping that leg. The second movement being getting the underhook where my left hand is. Do you see that underhook right there? All of the side control escapes that you are going to see are either going to be a guard recovery or getting out using that underhook or trapping that leg to move to half guard or a deep half guard or transitioning to regain guard by getting a butterfly hook in. So these techniques shut down all of the possible escapes. And when I get an underhook, look at where his forearm is. The forearm under the chin acts like a stopper.
That's a really good stop to any underhook escape. Because I'm going to be wanting to go that way.
Typically you can slide under like a mechanic, you can slide under the body to get to the other side, but that forearm in your neck acts as a stopper, so they cannot do all of the escapes from that underhook because their chin is running up against the forearm.
All right, let's try this one.
Now they've really given me inside position on this arm.
Yeah, I feel it. Armpit.
Here's something else that's genius. So here, typically you're going to see somebody try to step over your leg to capture the leg, or they're going to try to insert a knee in to escape the side control. And what he's doing is he just pinned the leg.
Every step that I take is another mistake to you. Since I was 18, apologize if I say anything I don't mean. Like, what's up with your best friend? We could all have some fun, believe me. And what's up with these new niggas? And why they think it all comes so easy? But get it while you here, boy.
Your turn.
I'd say it's good because you literally use like zero energy.
Yeah, so trying to get my knee on the inside of this arm, but she's staying so tight where she's able to create that space and start getting out her hip and whatnot. So I'm trying to find a way to step this knee in between. And then, like I said, if she gets this hook inside, then I just push down and step over.
Now this might seem simple, but when we get into, if you've ever done jiu-jitsu, then you know. When we get into testing this out, you're going to see it. Do you see that knee movement here? That is super important because it swivels the hips away. And this is the forearm stopper. Getting his forearm under my chin to get his own underhook, that eliminates the key movement for a lot of side control escape. So if you can stop the initial movement of an escape technique, especially if that underhook, there are like 5 different escapes off of that underhook. All right, do you see here? Now, typically, when I am on the top of side control, what I like to do is I like to post on the near side hip and swivel around. And I also focus on getting that far side shoulder to the ground because I want to flatten them. And usually I do that by crossing over their chest in order to pin that far side shoulder. However, this does something interesting. I don't know if you can spot where this compromises the technique. Because it's not wrong to have both. You want both of their shoulders pinned to the ground, but you also want to think about how your body is moving in order to do that.
Inside. You know, sometimes they're able to get their foot inside as like a little hook.
And when
And then I just block the top of the leg here, because now you can't elevate your leg.
go onto their side,
And do you typically hide your foot? Do you typically triangle your...
that shin is being used to staple. And what's really interesting is he is reinforcing his right leg. His left leg is over his right leg. And that helps to reinforce the stapling because you want to have a heavy knee.
From here, I start flattening his upper body.
That way they can't get their leg back. And they can't progress to half guard because there's no way to get in between your legs since your ankles are crossed, which I thought was brilliant.
On the side again. Just put the knee back in. And just flatten them up here. Strip that out.
And one thing that he's doing that I wasn't, it's really interesting. It's almost like typically when I am on top and I have a pretty controlling side control, when they turn towards me and they get on that leg, to me, I feel like I'm in danger.
But see, now you're overcompensating. Your hips are really light. Stay heavy on your legs.
And so I immediately want to pin their shoulder. But it's almost like I needed to retrain my brain so that when they are in this position that he's in right there, to sit my butt back and get heavy on that leg. Because if I move my weight forward to try to pin his right shoulder, then that makes that staple, that shin staple, that makes it light. So then I'm very easily movable because I don't have my weight back. Also, my left arm placement, that's important. I'm going to go into detail. You'll see at the end of the video a detail for that in action. But that arm placement is huge because right now I'm underhooking his neck. If I were to bring my forearm to his neck, like you saw probably in the video thumbnail, then that acts as a flattening lever so that it helps to flatten that right shoulder. See right there, that's it right there. And also what's really interesting is when I put my forearm there, when they get up on their side, that pushes me backwards, therefore reinforcing the staple, because you want to use their weight in order to get that leg really heavy. That way they cannot bring you upward. Here, he got the underhook so fast, that neck staple, you're either fighting for a position of stapling the leg or the underhook. So it's funny, it's like I was in traffic the other day and I saw a dump truck getting loaded with sand. And I noticed the dump truck driver was like rocking it back and forth to make the sand level. And I thought that was so cool. As they added more and more sand, he kept on rocking the dump truck back and forth. And that visual was in my mind while I was practicing this, because sometimes in my mind when, you know, they get up on a shoulder and I want to flatten them, I'm so focused on just like nailing that far shoulder that the technique of like rocking back and forth makes you less committed. You're like doing two things at once. It's not just like staple the leg. It's like add a little pressure to the neck, staple the leg, add a little pressure to the neck, staple the leg, instead of just overcommitting to that far side shoulder being flattened by putting my weight on it. Because anytime, you know, you put your weight forward, it's gonna make your legs light. And this is gonna be very obvious when you're a smaller player going up against a bigger, stronger player, because where your weight is distributed, it's like, you know, if you have 50 pounds in your ass and you're fully tripoded, that's, or even 100 pounds in your bottom half, that's going to be harder to move. But when you're light, you have to really be focused on where your weight is distributed. And here I'm using the forearm frame to, oh, see, that's an old habit right there, is typically I use the cross face and drive my shoulder in. And yeah, you know, I got the back, but to me, in my mind, it's like, here I'm workshopping the win of getting the technique down.
When you get that underhook, don't be afraid to sink back a little bit, and then you can drive forward again.
So typically I like to do like a crossface and shoulder pressure. Now I have to retrain my brain in order to get a forearm in the neck in order to control. There's the forearm in the neck to dig the underhook. So now that I have an underhook, they can't come up on a single leg. And then here I need to get my weight back in my ass. Yep. Oh. Oh, he captured the leg. And you know, that's fine. From there you can like work your knee slide, but the point is to not have to do that.
So go back and do that again. Because there's a lot of points where I feel like you can insert your knee in between his legs and you're not doing it. And that's gonna change how he moves on bottom.
What should be the trigger for the knee insert?
When he's on his side and his legs are starting to creep up. Yeah, so that position.
Like up this way?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like you're beating him there.
Yeah, like this is like stapling me, but I feel like I still have
Good. Yep, good hip movement. Yeah. And then get the underhook. Yep, yes.
Oh, there it is. Yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
Nice.
But I'm still, my butt is still in the air. I'm not pinning his knee to the ground. And when he's able to lift me off the ground because my weight isn't backward, that's when he can start working his escapes more. So when you're doing this, the feeling is, for me, it was, oh my God, they're turning towards me. I need to get them back on flat on their back. And then I overcompensate trying to drive their right shoulder down instead of saying to myself, good, they're towards me. I'm gonna staple the shit out of their leg.
Pressing your side and you escape. If I'm here, I get too focused on this, like, yeah, he's gonna capture my leg, right? So if we go back a step, and he gets on his side, and then I insert my leg this way. Now he's not escaping me here. Now I can focus on kind of flattening him back out, taking my leg out, and then re-flattening him.
Yeah, my whole approach has to change.
Yeah. It's that idea that like you make them think everything they do is wrong.
Yeah, it's like the negative enforcement for the correct escape. Yeah.
Right. Like get the underhook. Oh,
It's like,
now
oh,
I'm
you
just
wanna
getting stuck
escape?
here with the underhook.
Sure, escape. Let me help you with that.
And yeah, and also you just work that hard to get there, and it's like, okay, start over again.
Yeah.
And like, some people won't care, but some people, I feel like it would just break them mentally.
Oh.
Like, fucking well.
It doesn't take much to break people here, in general. Like
Yeah. But is it? It's the feel of their legs working up towards you when you have to drop that knee
When I
wedge
insert
in.
the knee, yeah. Because I feel it's like you're already on your side, your leg is flat. That's dangerous for me.
Yeah.
So
Because
if
I'm
you're
able to get here on my side.
yeah, if you're able to create like a good frame, you're gonna capture my leg.
Right.
So if I give you the wrong part of my leg, what are you gonna do? Like, like you're gonna fight your way. You're gonna fight your way here.
Mm-hmm.
So why don't I give you this instead?
Yeah.
And then how do you fight from there?
Right.
Now it gives me time to, come in here and
Make that
work
work for
this.
you,
Yeah. While you're trying to figure out, hey, what do I do from here? And then a lot of people, like I said, they'll insert this hook.
Oh,
Yeah. They'll come in here, and it's just like, thank you.
It's like you're playing a musical instrument. You're doing the forearm frame. If they swim for the underhook, use the forearm frame to get the underhook, all while. And the reason why I like that forearm frame is because when they're turning on their side, they're pushing into the frame, which then reinforces the weight in your legs, and it creates a stronger shin pin. So it's like a self-reinforcing. Do you see that? I'm able to get, yep, swim for the underhook, and then I can get my knee on the hip in order to get their legs away from me. Because if their legs are still, oh, there we go. See, the knee and the hip, I don't know if you know this, but when you drive the knee into their hip, you can force the direction of their legs away from you from that pressure against their thigh. So once their legs are away from you, then you don't have to worry about the pin. I'm using the counterbalance of literally all of my weight. It's like when you're a smaller person, you can't force people into a position just by sheer force. It's like you have to flow like water when they really want to do something and work off of their movement instead of brute forcing everything. So you just
Coming down more and then driving through rather than coming up high and driving down. Okay.
Yeah, here he's pointing out my overcompensation of my head to the other side. And when I post my head to the other side to really focus on that cross face, that's making my legs light, and then they're able to capitalize off of that. So it's almost like driving into the side of their neck in order to make my backside heavier. Oh, see, if it's almost like being aware of where your butt is in space and wanting to make sure your butt is low and like touching the backs of your heels through the whole process instead of tripoding up. Because typically I would use the tripoding to force. Oh, there, we have a head and arm choke. Typically I would use the tripoding to force them flat, but if I can force them flat if you can force them flat with your butt to your ankles, with your butt to your calf, then you are decreasing the probability of openings for escapes, which become more and more important when you are going up against somebody more and more skilled. Like this is a 4-stripe blue belt, so it's like things that work against less experienced people. You can do it with more openings and they won't be capitalized. But if you know these little details and you start doing them, especially at white belt, then you can develop a game where you have less and less holes from the get-go.
And then, yeah.
I mean, typically what I would do is in like my A game, it's like you post an arm and then I will like transition, like do a step over and transition to like north-south, or get their arm up. All right, and do you see how, see, he is so long that he is able to post his head on the far side. And when you're a smaller player, it's like, I don't have the length in my torso to be able to post my head on the far side without getting my legs super light. So there are different leverage points when you're a small person to keep in mind. It's almost like if you're a smaller person, then learning your jiu-jitsu from someone who has the same proportions of your extremities and your torso is more helpful. See, he's posting on the near side, and this is exactly what I typically do, is that near side post to block their legs from coming in. See, what he's doing is exactly what I do normally when rolling that transition. So we're both, as you get more and more experience, it's like you're fighting the game that you normally do to teach your body to do something else. And do you see how he's doing? He's doing the same thing that I was doing. His ass is up. When your butt is up, your legs are light. And that is going to give openings to people to get inside position in your legs and start working escapes.
Now the time to put your knee. Yeah.
See, he's doing the same thing that I did. Okay, if two people are doing the same thing, chances are you're probably going to also come across this. It's like getting heavy on that. See how I was able to capture his legs? Okay, look at this. This right here is all because there is room between his butt and his ankles and his calves. If you eliminate that by sitting your butt to the back of your legs, there is no space, and sitting it to the ground, you have zip-locked the space to be able to, for them to get their legs in. It's like the only time your butt should be up is when you're taking that knee and you're pushing their legs away. If their legs are close, then the butt should be down. So it's almost like if they get their leg to the ground, then you pin and you put your weight on it. And it doesn't matter if they're up on their side. That's when you then get your forearm in their neck and you go for the underhook. So here what I'm playing with is I'm using my knee to drive into his leg. That way he can't get his legs facing towards me, because once his legs face towards me, then he has the ability to weave the legs in to re-guard or go to half guard, get a half butterfly. So that my right knee pressure against his thigh is what's keeping his legs away. So that's the fight. It's like either the knee and the legs to push them away, or if they end up hipping out to get the legs to the ground, then you staple the leg to the ground with all of your weight back. Okay, right here, staple. Yeah, staple the leg. Get your weight back. Weight back. Yep. Oh, get your leg. Oh, see, that's where the legs crossing come in, because you see how his hand was between my leg, And he was using that to try to guide my foot in between his legs so he could escape side control to half guard. Crossing the ankles with my left leg, with my left ankle over my right ankle helps reinforce that right leg down and helps to shut down any of the pulling of the because once they grasp your ankle, they can shove it between your legs. But if you have your left, if I had my left leg like laced over, then that closes the guard basically, and they have less ability to manipulate your single leg in between their legs. If that other leg is like hooked on it, it's like, here's his hand, here's my leg, he's trying to push it. The other leg is on top, then you create a barrier to entry on that. Oh, here I'm finally using the forearm frame. And I have the underhook, so we won that battle. Oh, no, don't, see, I have such a cross-face tendency that when I switch over to the cross-face, I'm putting too much weight over the center line of his torso. That's what's making my legs light, and that's what's allowing him to get his escape. So I'm about to go to, there's no judo today, so I'm gonna go to Nogi. And this is great because I'm gonna practice this during the live rounds. Yeah, I need to keep that forearm frame. That forearm frame is everything, really. Because once I go to the cross face, when they have their legs towards me, it's making my legs way too light. So it's like, if their legs are towards me, I need to get a forearm frame, period. Which is exactly what he's doing. Do you see how he moved to the forearm frame? And let me tell you, that forearm frame across the neck is extremely, I think, listen, when he was doing it to me, a forearm frame across the neck, it's like if they push into you, they're pushing into the forearm frame across their neck. So that drive to go towards you is going to be less because of the forearm frame. So in my mind, I need to go to the forearm frame instead of going to a crossface. I need to train my body to do that. Because this right here, this position is extremely powerful. You know, it shuts down the underhook. It makes my legs heavier because as they drive towards me, it drives the weight to the ground. And then here, once their legs are away, oh. Yeah, that's what it is. It's like I need to get my butt heavy. It's like forearm frame to the neck to get my butt to the ground.
You need to sit in the air, I guess. I'll probably come back here.
Yes. I got the inside position.
And get the underhook, of course. Because if they can get the underhook, then they can get to their single. Oh, yeah. And do you see how my butt was so low there? It's like I need to get low and drive across instead of getting high and driving down. Because the high and drive down, that leaves a lot of opening here. It's like if this is my butt and this is, you know, my shoulder, and they're up like this, I'm used to like cross-facing and driving down, but this is creating so much space for, you know, higher level people to gain access to an escape. So, right. I'm gonna go do some more testing. It's like, oh my God, it's so fun developing game. It's like, you know, you develop an A game that works, like, but then it's like to learn something new, it's like you have to shut off the part of you that would do something different. And yeah, just So today this is my intention, today during open mat, when they get on their side, I am going to forearm frame across the neck and get my butt to the ground with that leg pin, with that shin. So and of course with the underhook. All right, so thank you so much for watching. I'm gonna go test this stuff out, and yeah, it's exciting. It's never ending. It's a never ending game of developing to like higher and higher levels, you know? It's like the best way to get better at jiu-jitsu is to develop the process of becoming, of the evolution of the growth. It's like you get something new, you test it, you see the failure points, and you like improvise until you get it to work at a higher and higher efficiency or success rate. All right, until next time, bye.
Why they think it all comes so easy? But get it while you here, boy. Cause all that hype don't feel the same next year, boy. Yeah. And I'll be right here in my spot with a little more cash than I already got. Tripping off you cause you had your shot. With my skin tan and my hair long and my fans who've been so patient. Me and 40 back to work, though we still smell like